decisions, and whereas after educating herself on the issues, Shalonda carefully weighs feasibility, fiscal equity, and long-term impacts on the community, then votes based on her belief for what's in the best interest and maximum benefit to our community. Whereas her time on City Council, Shalonda has demonstrated that her willingness to listen to others, coupled with her collaborative spirit, are the best ways to assure a positive outcome. And whereas Councilmember Hunt's legacy will be her laser-focused civic mindset, which has yielded unconditional trust and respect among her peers on the City Council, as well as in the Fifth Ward and the greater Jackson community. Now, therefore, we, members of the City Council of the City of Jackson, Michigan, do hereby thank Shalonda Hunt for her service to the City of Jackson and wish her well in her future endeavors. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hand and caused the seal of the City of Jackson, Michigan, to be affixed on this 26th day of November 2024.
Who's doing the picture? All right, let's get to work.
Okay. That brings us down to our next item, item number 6, public hearings. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion for us to recess as City Council and convene as the Board of Review.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. And the clerk, any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will proceed with a roll call. Oh, no, it just says. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Clerk will tally and display the vote.
You want me to refresh? Maybe I need to go back out, come back in.
Madam Clerk, if you'll just proceed with the roll call for us.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Councilmember Robinson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dancy,
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn,
Yes.
Councilmember Wood,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Forgrave.
Yes.
Okay, we are now convened as the Board of Review. At this time, I'll be looking for a motion and support to open public hearing for Special Assessment Road number 4307 for meterless parking.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Public hearing is now open. We will start with any written communications that you want to acknowledge. Did you have written communications on these ones?
Yes.
On this one?
There were 2 objections to the assessment that were submitted by email and forwarded to council. The first one was from Bridgepoint Development LLC at 134 MLK Junior Boulevard. And the second was from St. Paul's Episcopal Church at 309 South Jackson, also 309 South Mechanic, I guess. The property is listed as both. So those were the two property owners that sent in objections to the assessment roll.
Okay, thank you very much. And before we take the public comments, I will start with reading the rules for speaking before City Council. Number one, I'm sorry, sir. Number one, each speaker will state their name and address. Number two, during public hearings, the city council may enact a timeline on all speakers to ensure that all present get an equal chance to speak. Council members may answer questions during this time. Number three, each speaker shall be polite and courteous to the council and members of the public in attendance. While any speaker is free to express his or her opinion on any subject, no speaker may direct personal attack at any member of the staff or council unrelated to the manner in which they perform their duties, use obscene language while addressing the city council, or engage in disruptive or disorderly behavior during a council meeting. Number four, should the mayor determine that any of the items listed in item number 3 occur, the mayor may declare the speaker out of order. Number 5, if a speaker is declared out of order by the mayor and refuses to cease and desist from disruptive or disorderly conduct, the mayor may order the person removed from the meeting. Mr. John C. King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. John King, 203 3rd Street here in the city. I'm in favor, I had mentioned previously that I'm in favor of the meterless parking instead of the, if we went to meters and everything like that. It's just easier, more efficient and everything. We're not Ann Arbor where, it's, all the restaurants and everything. Maybe one day we could be there where there's a lot of competition for parking spaces. At certain times of the day, maybe right now, there could be a lot of the parking spaces taken up, but there's a lot of times that it's not. And to have meter parking, for something like that when parking spaces aren't even being parked in, that doesn't seem to make sense. I got a little frustrated last week with the conversation on it where Candy from Candy's Busy Bee mentioned, I think it was like her sidewalk in the parking lot being in poor repair or even worse than that. So there was the discussion of, meterless or non-meter. That has nothing to do with parking lots or sidewalks. Whether there's a certain amount of money that's spent and no more, that might have been the issue. I think Jonathan Green had mentioned that the money was spent on another parking lot. So it doesn't matter whether money comes from meters or from assessments. So if a sidewalk and other things are in bad shape, if the maintenance isn't good, that's more a city providing services issue, not whether it's metered or non-metered. I heard Kelly Hoover mention, I was thinking, great, and, she's sort of a social justice warrior, more about politics now. So I was thinking if we need to put more money into fixing sidewalks, parking lots, maybe we could get rid of her, Aaron Dimmick. There's a lot of money that goes to the races equity, not only the commission, but the department that, we could easily get $600,000 to $700,000 at least, just from eliminating the politics that's being pushed by the city. That's what I'm for. Stop the politics and put money towards providing services. Maybe with Mike Osborne, give him a little bump in pay, have him, make sure his department does more. Andrew Sargent could maybe get a little bit more, and So there's all this stuff with this people for the parks and stuff. I don't know where all this came from, where Aaron Dimick, was sort of charged. So there's all this political stuff that's going on when the issue that Kenny had brought up was just simply the city providing services. Then we get into Rhea T.A. Wilson, all the money that's been put into that when it could be going to fixing parking lots and other stuff so I'm for meterless parking, but I'm also for the city providing better services and at the cost of politics. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Patrick Collier.
Patrick Colligan, I own the Foundry at 216 South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. I'm here to complain about my parking lot assessment once again. I think I do this almost every year. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but I am, when I went through the list, it looks like I'm the third highest in the entire downtown. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but my business is only open 4 hours on Friday night and 4 hours on Saturday night. I don't know what universe that $5,100 is considered fair, but it certainly shouldn't be this universe. I understand that the parking fee pays for enforcement officers. I don't know who can answer this question, but who authorized or why is there 2 parking enforcement officers in that vehicle every day? Why is there 2? I've seen parking wars on TV before. The biggest cities in the country have 1 person per vehicle driving around writing parking tickets. Why are we paying the salary on 2 full-time employees? Let's see. My parking lot assessment has been right around $2,000 from 2005 all the way up to 2018, and it went up to almost $3,000 in 2019. And I complained about it that year as well. And the assessor told me that the reason it went up almost $900 from one year to the next is because they were going to rip out my entire parking lot around my building and rebuild it. That never happened. What did happen is the parking lot behind this building got ripped out and rebuilt, paid for by all of the businesses downtown. I don't know how that's fair either, because nobody can park there but city employees. So why does the businesses have to pay to have the parking lot of this building rebuilt? Doesn't make any sense. Last year, my assessment was $3,660. Now it's $5,100. That is not even close to being fair. It doesn't make any sense. Most of the people on the parking lot roll pay $850, which is the minimum. I'm not opposed to the parking lot assessment. I just think it needs to be more fair. Mine is $1,440 more this year than last, which is almost double what most people pay as the minimum. I would like to see a detailed report of every dollar spent from that parking lot fund, and I think every business owner should be entitled to receive a copy of that report every single year, detailing where every dollar that we spend goes to. My property taxes are $76.13. How is my parking lot assessment for plowing the parking lot almost as much as my actual property taxes? It just doesn't make any sense. I just ask for some more fairness. That's it. Thank you.
Council, any comments from you guys? Okay, seeing and hearing no comments from council.
Mr. Mayor, I do. I don't know if now is the time or not. Just wondering about the difference in the price. What do we base that off of? Their assessments, what is?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Councilwoman. Is that on? Each property is assessed based on its net need of parking spaces. So if somebody has the number of spaces needed for that occupancy as designated in our zoning ordinances, then they would pay the minimum price. And so any space that is needed above that, they would pay an additional space rate. So it's based on the occupancy of that structure against our zoning ordinances is how this is spread.
Okay.
So did something change from one year to the next, being the reason why?
Yeah, there are
that-
absolutely fluctuations from one year to the next. One of the largest changes that we saw was the Michigan Theater, who had been paying a substantial amount because the bridge was under construction. They had enough spaces for many years across Louis Glick there. On the other side of Louis Glick, they had those spaces to use. Those spaces were then taken away, so they were pitching in a substantial portion last year, and this year they got those spaces back. So not only was there an increase in the money that engineering needed, there was also a decrease in from the Michigan Theater being a large participant. So you had kind of two large moving parts this year.
So was there any substantial changes for the Foundry specifically that caused the increase?
This year's significant change, again, was based on a larger need, and the Michigan Theater, who is paying in much less now.
So so essentially the rates for everyone went up?
Rates for everyone went up.
How much was the minimum last year versus this year?
Is there a way for us to tell how much the minimum from last year versus this year?
Let me see if I have that here. So the minimum's always been two spaces. The per space rate last year was $305, so that'd be $610 would be the minimum. This year, $425, so the minimum's $850. So that's about a 40% increase.
So the minimum went up just over a couple $100, and mine went up over a couple $1,000.
So the net change for everybody is based on the rate of parking spaces that are calculated that they need for their particular business, correct?
That's correct. So this process starts out with a questionnaire going out to each owner, asking how many spaces do they own, how many spaces do they lease from others, and how many spaces do they lease to others. And then my office gathers that information and starts to assemble their net need.
Okay.
Supposedly my $5,100 is actually supposed to be part-time. They're saying that they're already putting into the equation that I'm only open.
Is there any different calculation for part-time spaces versus full-time spaces?
So we have an occasional use that reduces that, so a 33% of the total use.
Okay. I don't have any other questions right now. Thank you. Appreciate it. Council, do you guys have any other questions?
I do. I have one question. Do we anticipate this increase annually?
That would be a question for the assessor.
I don't think I can fairly answer that. So the assessor's office spreads as fairly as we can, and we understand it's not a perfect system, but as fairly as we can based on zoning. That amount that we spread is what is approved in the engineering budget for those spaces. So I think maybe if Troy might be able to espouse a little bit on why was there an increase this year, he might be able to help you with that question.
I think the one of the drivers of the increase this year was work on the parking lot up on Blackstone up by the library. Those are the things that drive increases. You know, we're always trying to find that balancing act, you know, between keeping assessments down while also doing the maintenance. When we do projects on parking lots, it makes the cost go up. When we take a year or two off, it doesn't impact it as much. So when you ask, can we anticipate future increases? It depends on how we prioritize and what type of maintenance we do and how much of it we do. You know, if we do more parking lot construction, it's going to cost, and it's going to have to be paid for.
Thank you. So even if the Foundry is not experiencing any updates with its parking lot specifically, any surrounding areas would cause a ripple effect and they would experience an increase?
What? I might be speaking out of turn here, but the assessments pay for the entire parking system. They don't pay for specific spaces or specific lots. So the entire downtown parking system, you know, the costs for that system are spread among throughout that assessment district. I think the answer is yes to what you asked.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Seeing or hearing none, I would be looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, the same. And public hearing is now closed, and if you would just refresh your screen so that way we can make sure that everybody's voting apparatuses is working correctly after the discussion. And then next, we'll be looking for a motion to approve the resolution confirming the special assessment roll number 4307.
I make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. And it passes 5-2. And next, we will be looking for a motion to to adjourn as a board of review and reconvene as city council.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote.
The same thing.
That brings us down to, that brings us down to item number 7, citizens' comment. And I will start with reading the rules for speaking before the city council during citizen comment portion of the meeting. Number 1, each speaker will state their name and address prior to addressing council. Number 2, each speaker is limited to up to 3 minutes during the citizen comment portion of the meeting. Council members will not debate or answer questions at this time. Number 3, each speaker should be polite and courteous to the council and members of the public in attendance. While any speaker is free to express his or her opinion on any subject, no speaker may direct personal attacks at any member of the staff or council unrelated to the manner in which they perform their duties, use obscene language while addressing the city council, or engage in disruptive or disorderly behavior during the council meeting. Number 4, should any speaker cause a breach of the peace through their conduct, the mayor may declare the speaker out of order. Number 5, if a speaker is declared out of order by the mayor and refuses to cease and desist from disruptive or disorderly conduct, the mayor may order the person removed from the meeting. Number 6, each speaker may only speak once under public comment and may not yield their time to others. Mr. John Light.
Good evening, folks. John Light. I live out in Henrietta Township, out the north end of the county. So let me start out tonight by just giving a little shout out to Ms. Hunt. Your service been appreciated, and I've had several conversations with Ms. Hunt right there. And when I first talked to her, one of the things that impressed me right there is I'm not a big phone guy, and I don't email and text right there. And I said, ma'am, I really would like to meet you and talk to you in person. And she said, name a place and time. So we met at Bigby Coffee, we met at Jackson Crossing, a couple other places. So that was one of the things I was impressed with. And when talking with her, she was always factual. She knew her stuff right there. And the other thing I liked about her is she's an impeccable dresser. So good luck in your future endeavors, ma'am. What I want to do is want to talk about T.A. Wilson. Before I talk about that, I attended the Interface 50th anniversary dinner the other night. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I did see you there, Ms. Hunt. And what was impressive about that is it was announced at that meeting right there that they are getting ready to break ground on the 46-bed facility that they were talked about wanted to do with T.A. Wilson School. And there was a Glick representative there that had said, we are pledging $1.5 million to that project, which they did. There was a Dawn Food representative there that said, we are pledging $300,000, which they did. They also, I think they also had a total of about over $100,000 in other donors that gave $100 bills, $20 bills. Probably the most impressive thing about that was $1.9 million that they had committed to that project. The most impressive thing was the John George Trust Fund is going to go ahead and match that dollar for dollar. So they have already matched up to $3 billion. They've already matched $1.9 million of that, so that project is rolling. Now, why that is significant right there is because not only is the Interfaith Shelter, they have hooked up with Eric Rice and the WHO organization, and I was here when they had the presentation, and RIA presented theirs, and I believe even Miss TJ was in the hunt for a little while. I thought it was a bad decision that you guys went with RIA because they didn't really have a lot of money. They really didn't have a plan. Interfaith had money, they had a plan, they had experience. You guys decided not to go with that, so I know that you make mistakes, and that was probably a bad decision as it looks because that money probably would have went into T.A. Wilson facility. It's still a win for the city because you're going to get another 46 beds in a nice facility, but it's a loss for the city because you're still sitting on T.A. Wilson School. That is going to be a problem now because it's quite evident that Residents in Action is probably not going to be able to close that deal. So somebody that voted for that, rectify that situation, market that school again. Thank you.
John C. King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. John King, 203 3rd Street here in the city. Regarding I don't think it was a mistake. Politics again, as usual. I was with Nicholas Thirst, and we're walking down the street here. This was about a month and a half ago. There was a man, I was on closer to the buildings. Nikki was closer to the street, and there was a young man that was walking up, and so he kind of said, oh, I need to go to the hospital or something like that. So, but I was impressed with Nicholas Thurston because, you know, we stopped and, you know, he made sure the guy was doing okay, ended up calling 911 and stayed there for quite a while. And, you know, the police eventually came and told us, okay, you guys can go. So that showed me something there with him, and so I was kind of thinking, I know two people in the city of Jackson that care about people, and as fate would have it, a lot of times they show animosity towards each other right here. A couple things in the news. There's Pete Hegseth that is being accused of rape. You know, the defense secretary nominee. By the media is pushing, you know, some parts of a statement. Megyn Kelly had a detailed thing, and it's really just a bunch of BS. The lady is there's all kinds of evidence she's making up. Then there's like all the people that, the young man worried about his loved ones after the election, another one, and, it's sort of like, I don't know, maybe they're worried about themselves burning their own homes down and stuff like that. I mean, it's just nonsense. Right now, I spoke about the vacancies in the city council. There's a specific section that addresses it. When the voters voted for it, they said, and appoint an interim council member or treasurer until such election, which was November 5th. Well, if you want to go by certified election, that's already been done. So the charter says, who shall serve until election of a new council member or treasurer. Right now, there's been good things, the personal things with Shalana Hunt, but right now what's going on is illegal, and any votes that you do
Thank you,
will be
Mr. King.
could be thrown out. Thank you.
Pam Henry.
Good evening, Mayor Mahoney and Jackson City Council members. My name is Pam Henry. I'm a fairly new resident of Jackson, having lived here only about 7 years. And during that time, my husband and I have seen a lot of really positive changes in downtown Jackson, in the city parks and throughout the community. 100 Jackson Homes is brilliant. You're to be commended for all you've done to help the city grow and bloom once again. Thank you. My husband Tim and I are also members of the First Congregational Church, which is the oldest church in Jackson, situated at a cornerstone of the city in downtown Blackman Park. It predates the Civil War and has witnessed countless changes through the years. I, and we, some of the members of our church family are here, come here tonight on behalf of one of the church's closest friends. It's not a human friend, mind you, but a healthy living monument, a white fir tree that graces and protects the front entrance of our building and resides in downtown Blackman Park. The fir tree is perhaps 40 to 45 feet tall, maybe 40 plus years old, and together they've seen decades come and decades go. Through the years, this lovely tree has been beautifully adorned with Christmas lights, is often the backdrop of city, church, and family photographs. Most recently, the annual crop walk photo was taken there in October. It's a place for children to play hide and seek on summer evenings during concerts and cruise nights, and in general, it stands as a living monument to our beloved city of Jackson. The branches of this stately tree, however, sit atop an old surveying stone in Blackman Park, dated around 1875. The stone does have historical significance. It marks the place where the first official measurements of Jackson were made. The city of Jackson rightfully wants to acknowledge it and has proposed removing the tree to recover the marker underneath. We believe this is unnecessary and that both monuments can be saved and admired. And to this end, we've collected signatures from 99 members of Friends of First Congregational Church and greater downtown Jackson area asking the city to save our tree. And I have these here for your consideration. We've only just begun working on this petition for a very short while, and I feel certain that we could easily secure more signatures because nearly every person I've spoken to has said, oh yeah, that's a great tree. It's been there as long as I can remember. Or, why couldn't they just put a sign next to the stone and save the tree? We appreciate your attention and careful consideration of this matter and would welcome a chance to work with you to find an alternate solution that respects and saves both of these important Jackson monuments, the living one and the historical one. And we respectfully ask that you render a decision and keep us informed on how you plan to proceed. Thank you very much. May I submit these for your consideration? May I submit these? Yes? Thank you.
Janet Murray. Did I say that correctly?
No, but that's.
No, correct me. Go
It's
ahead.
pronounced Marine, like the U.S.
Marine.
Marines.
Okay, that's an R. I'm sorry.
I'm Janet Marine. I live at 781 West Barrington Circle in Jackson, and I've been attending First Congregational Church since the mid-'80s. Do I remember the tree as being outstanding at that point? No. But it's the only one of its species in the park. It is gorgeous. It seems to be a waste of money to remove a beautiful, healthy tree and replace it with another one. I truly believe that if we ask experts on the subject, the tree could be very slightly modified and perhaps lighting on the marker, leave the marker where it is. Nobody wants to hug the marker, they just want to be able to read it and see it. I don't see why we can't alter a few branches and keep everybody happy and save the city some money. Thank you.
Thank you. Carrie Taylor Snyder.
Kerry Taylor Snyder, pastor of First Congregational Church, 120 North Jackson Street, diagonal from us. Yes, we are concerned about the tree. Thank you for allowing us to speak about it. When we learned about this, we proposed different options. Having the tree moved, we understood that was extremely expensive, and we don't like to see money wasted, as well as anything else. But it is a living tree. 40 to 45 years ago, somebody in the city of Jackson put a tree in expecting to see something beautiful down the way. I would hate to see that person's dream gone to waste. The tree could be trimmed up 6 to 7 feet. There could be a bench or two underneath of it, so people could sit down in the shade in the summertime to enjoy listening to the birds, the squirrels, the chipmunks, but also looking at the plaque that you're planning on putting there concerning this marker in the ground. The money saved could be a substantial amount. We have cruise-in nights in Jackson, as you know. There are restrooms that were built, I'm told were damaged, and have never been opened since. Please take that money and open those bathrooms. We have people literally every week coming to our doors asking if they can use the restrooms because there's no restrooms downtown. And other occupants in the city are putting up signs, you might notice, no public restrooms, because it happens all the time. So please don't waste money taking this tree out. Save it. It's a living treasure. Trim it up. Put benches underneath of it. Allow people to see the treasure that somebody 40, 45 years ago had envisioned for us, the citizens of Jackson. Thank you very much.
Christy Davis.
Christy Davis, 612 4th Street. I just want to thank Shalonda for her example of leadership to me and our residents. I've had a lot of interactions with her, and I have learned a great deal from you. And I've had a pleasure getting to know you. And I look forward to having you help me in my new position. So thank you very much, Shalonda. It's been a privilege.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
Mr. Avion.
Okay, so Some time ago, I was sitting in my room, and I was staring at a blank document on my laptop, this laptop, trying to put my vision into words. It was late, and I remember feeling the mix of determination and doubt. I kept asking myself, will anyone listen? Will they understand what we, as young people, need? So fast forward today, and here I stand, not just speaking for myself, but representing a community of young voices, of countless young people in our community. So let me tell you something. So this moment is not just about me. I heard a lot of people saying that. It's about us. It's about what happens when a group of committed individuals come together to create something bigger than any of us. So today we're here for the second reading of the Youth Council Initiative. But this isn't just a policy discussion. It's a testament to what collaboration, hard work, and shared vision can accomplish. So let me be clear. This journey hasn't been about asking for permission. It's been about proving that young people deserve a platform. We've been working together to shape something that will give students not just a voice, but a purpose. And a youth council is not just another committee. It's a symbol of trust. It's a symbol of investment in the next generation. So I didn't prepare a lot to say to this council, but I want to thank you all. Thank you for listening to my ideas when they were just dreams written on a page. Thank you for challenging me to refine those. Thank you, Shalonda, for all your time, not just here, but also on the school board and assisting me with that. And the belief shows that you understand something important. Leadership does not start when you get older. Leadership doesn't start when you have a fancy degree. Leadership doesn't start when you have a title. It starts when the moment someone says, I believe in you. Most importantly, I want to thank the DEI department who helped me the most. The Youth Council is a structure. It's a way to connect young people to making decisions, making process that impacts their lives, and in that way to teach us the skill we all need to lead. Not just tomorrow, but right now. So I'm going to end with this. I'm going to end with a quote, and it says, dream with ambition, lead with conviction, and see yourself in a way that others may not see you, simply because they have never seen it before. So this Youth Council is us leading with conviction. It's us daring to see ourselves as capable, as initiative, and as ready to make a difference. So thank you. Thank you for your time, your trust, and your belief in the power of the young voices. And the other, we're not shaping policy. We're simply shaping the future. Thank you.
Dr. VJ.
Hi, Victoria Jimerson, the Executive Director of the Welcome Home organization located at 1203 First Street. Just want to bring up, we got the Leo grant, and as the gentleman stated, that it got matched, and that's amazing. So not only does Interfaith get to build their family housing area, we also get to open up our grocery store at the back of Who, and our community test kitchen as well. So we're extremely excited about that. And we want to thank everyone on the city council that wrote support letters for us, and we greatly appreciate that. So we will be breaking ground here in the next 60 days on our grocery store on Greenwood. So we're excited about that. I also want to talk about Whoville. We're doing Whoville, and we welcome everybody to come. It will be held, our partner this year is Calvary United Methodist Church at 925 Bacchus. And you guys got rid of their assessment, their tax assessment. I know they were here and passionate about it. So we will be hosting Whoville on December the 7th. This is our 4th annual Whoville. We've been able to service, last year, we served over 200 families a free meal. Every kid got at least one toy. We had a magician. This year we have a DJ. And we are partnered with the church, and they are just amazing. And it's going to be awesome. So if you are available, we invite the city council to please come. It will be December 7th. The doors open at 3:30 p.m. We will provide dinner, gifts, a DJ, and activity tables for kids. So we would love for you guys to come and get to know the community. I know we're always in the Flatiron District, but now we're kind of making our way to the north side, right? So that's, we're all one community. And then what else? Oh, also, with our grocery store, we also put in some apprenticeship programs with Michigan Works. So we plan on getting young people we have established 11 apprenticeship programs for young people and veterans. So if you would like to find out more, let us know. We're currently working through designing those apprenticeships. So from farming all the way to marketing, all the way to inventory management. And last, for the tree people, I got some info for you. So we're working with an organization called Rebel Cultures. Please look it up. The head of it is Della Fitzer. We just submitted a grant with them, and she literally grows test tube trees that are becoming extinct. So I encourage you, if you need an introduction, please reach out to me, and I will get you in contact with Rebel Cultures. She did a TED Talk, so Google it and check her out, Rebel Cultures. And like I said, we just submitted a grant with her this past week. So just let me know and I'll get you in contact with them. And that way we can save the trees too, because Welcome Home loves the trees too. Just let you know.
Mr. Nicholas Thurston.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nicholas Thurston. I live here in Jackson, Michigan, 410 Van Buren Street, Apartment B, Ward 5. I want to use my citizen comment time to talk about a few key issues that are important to me. Double standards in government, failure of DEI, the 2024 U.S. elections, and some other local issues. The business owners brought up a lot of good points about the raising of the assessment fees for the parking spaces. A lot of downtown businesses have complained that they're not even getting anything for the money that they are currently spending. Candy's Busy Bee is one of them that has been more outspoken. But, what she said is totally true, and we see it downtown. It seems bizarre that the price keeps going up, but the service is declining. Other things I wanted to note, the rehab project, still, here we are, it's been several months later, and they've received the $500,000 State of Michigan Community Centers grant that was designated to purchase the T.A. Wilson building and rehabilitate the T.A. Wilson building. I'm not sure how they've spent the $500,000, but as far as I know, they have not actually purchased the building. They do not actually own any community centers. And if they have spent this grant money instead of returning to the state, then they are committing fraud. On the other side of the coin, we hear some positive developments from the WHO organization, or Welcome Home organization, excuse me. But, I do have some concerns on that, of how it will be implemented, and if there will be any fair housing standards that will be upheld. Interfaith Shelter has performed extremely poorly in the last, since their entire existence, really, as far as fair housing and legal compliance is concerned. I'm not sure why there's a double standard for how they run their properties versus how the 200 downtown can run their property, or the Albert Kahn, or the Lofts on Louis, or any other landlord or non-owner occupied properties. But there's definitely a double standard for how nonprofit organizations in Jackson do business versus for-profit organizations in Jackson, how they're treated, how their properties are assessed, whether or not the city does inspections in a way that is consistent. And ultimately, it's the customers that suffer, and the donors really are also left with the short end of the stick. I'm glad to see that there's some changes to Ward 5 council seat. I think that was a bad selection based on what she's done with the school board. It's not been consistent with state Michigan constitutional law or the needs of the local people. So it'll be good to see her out of Ward 5. And what else? I think that's just about it. Thank you.
My name is Jemiah Riggins 405 McBride Street. Really didn't come to speak tonight, but I would like to really thank my sister-in-law, Shalonda Hunt. I think she's done an awesome job for the city. There's one thing I've talked to her quite frequently about and didn't expect to come tonight and speak to the city council. But I think the city of Jackson, I've been here 33 years, and one of my biggest complaints with the city is our streets. I think that's something that everyone should be aware of if you have a license. Even, matter of fact, even if you ride a bike. I remember I first bought a bike. It was a thin wheel bike. I had to get rid of it and get a mountain bike just to ride down the streets. And I think that should be something that should be a priority in the city. We have roundabouts. We have great golf courses, which I love. But at the present time, the city has grant money to actually fix drain lines. And by doing that, they're repairing parts of the streets. I live on 405 McBride Street, and it was horrible before. Now we have part of a street with repairs. The other part looks like garbage. And it's like, this is a perfect time, if we're going to be doing any repairs to the streets, this is a perfect time to uplift Jackson. I think Jackson, we have older homes, but if you have nice streets, it makes the city look nicer. You have, I don't care what your house look like. If the streets are bumpy and rocky, it's just not appealing to the city. And so I think if the council can make that a priority, like I said, 33 years, and I'm yet to see streets be a concern at all. I don't know exactly how the streets are paid for. I know the gentleman said he's assessed for his parking spot, and even if it's not concerning him. Well, we're paying taxes, and I don't know what all my money go to. But streets, definitely that's not part of it. And so if I can just ask the city council, make that a priority for the city. Give us nice streets that, not just roundabouts, but in the community. I think it will make Jackson itself be a greater place to live. Thank you.
Mr. Derek Dobies. Give him 30 seconds.
Yeah, dock my time. Man, on your last day, your brother-in-law is giving you tasks to do, huh?
I'm perfect. I can do the job.
Derek Dobies, 2017 Glen Drive. Want to express my appreciation for the work that you guys do, Mr. Mayor, council members. Appreciate you. My council member had my leaves picked up today, so thank you, Will. And speaking of trees, sounds like there's a lot of people here for the tree downtown. It's a beautiful tree. Hope it can be saved, so add my voice to the chorus. And want to invite everyone, speaking of things downtown, next Friday, December 6th, I'm hosting my annual National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Doors open at 6:30. Movie starts at 7. So inviting everyone here, including John C. King. Yep. Happy to hear more talk about the Youth Council. That was something that we worked on when I was still mayor, and glad to see that expanded and some young voices interested in stepping up and serving in that capacity and helping move the city forward. I've talked to Shalonda about this, that now serving with her on the school board, we have some pretty natural ways in the school system of engaging with the young people in our community. That is a little bit harder from the city perspective, so having things like the Youth Council to gather those voices and put those voices into action is important. And lastly, I'm actually here to give thanks and appreciation to Councilmember Hunt. This is not an easy task, and certainly now serving with you on the school board, the issues are are different, more expansive, and magnified when you are trying to deal with a variety of different issues, a variety of different constituencies. But I think you handle yourself with dignity and with grace, and approach folks from all different walks of life with the respect that they deserve. So thank you for your service. I know many of you guys don't often get thanks, but I wanted to give you your flowers while you're still around. And congratulations to Chrissy May Davis for coming on here, and looking forward to working with her, working with the rest of you to do what I can to help continue to move the city forward. Thank you.
Okay, council, that concludes our citizen comment portion of the meeting. If you will, please refresh your screens, and when you're ready, I'll be looking for a motion and support on the consent calendar.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
So it's decided for real?
Just like that.
Just like that. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote.
What did they just say? What was it that they just said?
Item passes unanimous, brings us down to item number 9. Looking for a update on the East Side Economic Development.
Yeah, I can be pretty brief on this. It is exciting update to share. I just got done making my notes on it. In collaboration with Henry Ford Jackson, Consumers Energy, American One, Credit Union, Enterprise Group Community Foundations, and a couple others, this group would be issuing an RFP to perform, I would say, like a SWOT analysis, a strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats for the East Side. The idea is to attract a consultant who can put together some ideas for how to leverage what's going on there now with the Shane Laporte created health district and the 100 home projects, our other home projects in the area, and Allen School being redeveloped. See what we can do to leverage those successes and go beyond that. Things that will touch East Michigan Avenue and a little bit beyond for the scope of that. And that's pretty much it. That just went out, and we hope to have something back in January, and have a committee will be picked to select the consultant. I'm sure they will turn up at some city meetings to, or have some meetings with some city folk to learn about what's been happening historically there, and also kind of get council's vision of the future for that side. So more to come on that. That's all.
Any questions, council? Okay. That brings us down to item B. Looking for a motion and support to approve the second reading and final adoption of ordinance number 2024-09, amending the age requirement for the youth council to include eligibility of middle school students and high school students.
So move.
Support.
Moved in. All the support. Any discussion?
I am thrilled to see this happening. I feel that when we start early, we are preparing our young people to be leaders, right? So we talk about those giants, standing on the shoulders of giants. And we have Avion, who is speaking loud and clear and advocating for those that may not have joined you just yet. But if you are the one and only right now, I respect you and I appreciate your willingness to stand up and speak your truth. And I strongly support this.
I agree. I don't know many 14-year-olds who would spend a Tuesday night, 13-year-olds. I was trying to give him some age. I was trying to give him a little bit of age. I don't know many young people in general who would want to spend their nights worrying about trying to make this type of change and then showing up to the meeting and actually speaking on behalf of that change needing to be made. So you should be proud of yourself right now. And I look forward to like you getting onto the youth council and making more changes. Okay, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. And that brings us down to new business. Looking for a motion and support to approve Amendment 1 to the 22-007 Trail Construction Engineering Contract with Hubble Roth and Clark Incorporated of Jackson, Michigan at a not-to-exceed cost of $24,485 and authorize city manager and city engineer to sign the appropriate document.
So move.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passed unanimous, brings us down to item B. Looking for a motion and support to approve change order 1 to the 2024 pavement marking contract with PK Contracting Incorporated in the increased amount of $27,333.88 to balance the contract quantities to match the quantities placed in the field and authorize city manager and city engineer to execute the appropriate documents.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous, brings us down to item C. Looking for a motion and support to approve Amendment 1 to the fiscal year 2023 Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Construction Administration Services Professional Services Contract with Fishbeck Incorporated of Grand Rapids, Michigan, in the amount of $934,850.
So move.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. It brings us down to item D. Looking for a motion and support to approve change order number 2 to the wastewater treatment plant and Myrtle Lift Station improvements contract with Haney General Contracting Incorporated for an extended contract time with substantial completion on December 31st, 2024, and authorize city manager and director of public works to execute the appropriate documents.
So move.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, the clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. Brings us down to item E. Looking for a motion and support to amend the motion previously adopted at the November 12th, 2024 meeting to state approval of the contract award for the West Clarifier Repaint and Repair Project to Seven Brothers Painting Incorporated of Shelby Township in the amount of $776,000 to be funded with $606,046.25 of local recovery funds under the American Rescue Plan, American Rescue Plan Act, with the reallocation of $3,000 of these funds from engineering and inspection services to construction, and remaining $167,953.75 from the general fund.
So move.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous. Brings us down to item F, looking for a motion and support to approve an agreement for the exchange of real property and related development agreement between the City of Jackson, CCM-500 Griswold, Jackson LLC, and Cardinal Capital Management Incorporated, or its assignee, whereby CCM 500 Griswold Jackson LLC shall convey, and the city shall receive 500 Griswold Street, and the city shall convey, and Cardinal Capital Management Incorporated or its assignee shall receive 226 West Louis Glick, 232 Van Buren Street, and 200 South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and authorize city manager and city attorney to make minor modifications to the agreements as may be necessary to effectuate the transfer.
Support.
Any discussion on this item? I don't mind. I'll read it one more time, but instead, we'll have Shane come up.
Come on, Shaney.
Come on, give us some explanation on this.
Shane. Come on. You know you want to talk anyway.
I'm
This is
noticing,
exciting.
I'm noticing he wear that vest when it's something real good getting ready to happen. I'm picking up on that.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Okay.
Good morning.
Oh, evening. I don't even know yet. I don't know which way I'm going sometimes. This is a great agenda item, a couple years in the making. I can field any questions you have, deeper specifics, if you didn't have a chance to read the extremely
Just
lengthy.
give us a brief overview.
The city has the opportunity to acquire 3.11 acres at Greenwood and Fourth Street, excuse me, where the Griswold School used to be. Cardinal Capital several years ago acquired the property with no real development ideas, and after some investigation was able to locate the owners of the property. The LLC is owned by Cardinal Capital out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We were able to have the developers come to Jackson, see the great things about Jackson, show them one of the wonders of the world at the Cascades Falls, which they fell in love with, and thought, you know, this would be a great property for something. However, it would not fit within what they specialize in, which is high density. The property zoned R1. Well, at the same time, we had the perfect storm. 100 Homes came along and some other projects for new housing. And so we really built a stronger relationship with Cardinal Capital, and their team came over and visited Jackson, and we showed them the awesomeness of the Roxy Cafe, and they just kind of felt the love of Jackson that we have. So through building relationships with them, through just deep discussion about what our community needs, and that is housing, affordable single-family housing, they felt the best use was for the City of Jackson to be able to acquire the property. With that, we didn't really have the $650,000 to buy it, so we do have property. We have property that is developable downtown, and several years ago, we looked to try and turn the property next door to the Foundry. There's a small square there as part of an opportunity zone development opportunity. It just didn't come to fruition, so we thought we would pitch Cardinal Capital with a swap there. The city also owns some property next to the Social Security building on Louis Glick across the street from the 200. So we took the builders and developers to those locations, and they absolutely fell in love with those locations for development. We had a commercial appraisal done, determined that a trade for the two properties that are on this agenda would be reasonable and fair to both parties, and that if we made this trade, Cardinal Capital would work toward development of the two properties. One, a 100+ unit market rate development on 200 MLK next to the Foundry, which would be 8 to 11 stories, with a restaurant possibly on top, and a 55 and older 50-plus unit development on the Louis Glick site. And in the works that's not on the agenda tonight, in the future, they would like to also get a option for some other acreage we have to do another development for some row housing, townhouses. So they're a developer we've brought here through hard work, relationships like Mr. Green has encouraged all staff to create with developers and bring them to our space to do great work.
Did I hear you correctly, Shane? With one motion, the city of Jackson could stand to get addition of market rate housing, senior housing, and affordable single-family housing?
Yes, and within the development agreement with the work that Mr. Hagerty did, and without any pushback from Cardinal Capital, we've agreed to a development timeline where we would develop a development timeline, if council agrees to it, of 24 months for the first development. They're working on it now. The renditions are in your packet. They're working on the capital stack. They're working on development design for both sites. And so one would have to start within 24 months. The other one would have to start within 6 months thereafter. So that would be both start within 30 months. However, they're fast movers. They're a very reputable development firm. They've done a lot of work throughout the country. If you want to Google them, look at the Germania building in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is a mixed income building, which they converted to just an amazing mixed use, living on the upper and commercial on the lower. So they're very reputable. This is a win-win. The worst case scenario, we end up with 3.11 acres of developable property for hopefully our 100 Homes program and Chapter 2 of whatever comes thereafter to put brand new housing there in a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood close to amenities. And we have the right of first refusal to acquire the properties back at the same price of the trade that we acquired them. So worst case, if we want to get it back on a right of first refusal, we market it, we find a different developer in the future, we just pay them back for the same price that you see in the packet or in the development agreement. So it's a win-win. Are there any questions?
Council, any questions?
Well, I want to ask about the Griswold property.
Yes.
What's our goal there?
16 of the 100 Homes opportunities. Our goal would be to, when we show persons who are looking to be into the 100 Homes program, those sites, there are currently 45 or 55 opportunities left? 55 opportunities left in the 100 Homes program. Somebody who qualifies today could pick, if you pass this and we get that deed in hand, somebody could pick a site there today.
Okay.
Or
So
as soon as required.
opportunity for the 100 Homes.
And/or Chapter 2. If we burn through the 100 Homes dollars, we will have a Chapter 2 with the work the council does and the vision that we have. There will be something else there. We just don't know what yet, but there will be something after that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Just briefly, this is more a curiosity question. When you started, just to provide some context, Cardinal Capital had purchased that Griswold Street property, or those properties. Was that like a sight unseen? They had no idea what they were doing with it, and it just, we had to track them down, you said?
I can tell you the history is we went to a Center for Community Progress event several years ago in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There was a person from Jackson, Michigan, who worked for Cardinal Capital. Milwaukee was the host city. They were celebrating the greatness of the things they've done in that space of community development and vacant spaces. We celebrated some properties we have. She enticed the owner of Cardinal Capital to purchase the property, sight unseen, totally, had faith in the employee that something could be done in the future. However, that employee left. And so honestly, they were mowing it, didn't have any thought of development. They were just paying the taxes, mowing it. They got some garbage bills and stuff, and they didn't have it on their radar for anything. We just aggressively pursued the opportunity. You're welcome.
Council, any other questions? Is there a layout for how the 16 homes would be on that 3.1 acre property?
Yes, thanks to Troy. Troy does amazing work for us, part of putting these together. Troy, after finding out from him that every border has water sewer hookup, we're able to look at it and just do a layover. Chris Adkin also jumped in on this, and each parcel would be roughly, I can't remember, it's 60 minimum, but it might be up to 120 deep. Someone could add a garage if they wanted to in the process of their build, because on 100 homes, somebody can do that if they choose to do so, and or in the future. So in the packet, I did put a layout there. We think that's the best layout for this site. It's just a more of a traditional city layout. We didn't want to have a rear load parking that creates problems for maintenance, so we just wanted to go with regular front load parking off the street. We've talked to builders about different layouts, one in which would provide the most amount of privacy with a 60-foot wide lot, so that neighbors aren't pulling up with driveway on the same side. And if you don't like your neighbor who wants to drive into their driveway every day after work and run into their neighbor, so we would just put the driveways opposite of the neighbor's front door, and they'd provide privacy, and people can have a lot of area there to put trees, garden, whatever. The lots they're going to be deep, as you can see if you pull it up. I don't remember what page it is, but the layout is on there. It's going to be pretty beautiful.
I don't have any more questions. Any more questions from you guys? Okay.
It'd be nice to see it develop, though.
It will be. It's been vacant a long time. Okay.
All set, Mayor?
Great work.
Thank you, Mayor. Great work to you also and council. Thank you. Thank you all. Hopefully we get 100% support here. Thank you.
Okay. Motion and support is on the floor. Clerk will tally and display the vote.
Yes.
Nope.
Item passes unanimous. Item G, looking for a motion and support to authorize Police and Fire Services Director Elmer Hitt to accept the MDCR grant and amend the budget as shown in the attached resolution.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing or hearing none, clerk will tally and display the vote. Item passes unanimous, and that brings us down to council member comments. Council member Gunn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Shalonda, it's been really great working with you. I echo everything that people said about you tonight, about your integrity, your grace, your thoughtfulness, doing all your research before you come to any conclusions, asking lots of questions. So we're going to miss you. And yeah, stay in touch. Keep in touch. Other than that, happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy your 4-day weekend. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Dancy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, Ms. Hunt, thank you for your service, for your time sitting on this council. Appreciate you, appreciate what you bring to the council, what you brought to the council, and you still bring. Appreciate working beside you. You are pretty ambitious. You get on my nerve, girl. No, you good. I appreciate you. I love you very much. So thank you so much. Good luck. We'll see in another year. Thank you. I have a community meeting, ward meeting, whatever, 9 December at Booth Center from 6 to 8. You know, I have police, Mr. Chief, Director, come by and talk about what's going on in Second Ward, crime and things like that. I have Corey come over and talk about not so much 100 homes, but what's going on in the community in the Second Ward with homes. We also have someone from, I guess, the water department come talk about that letter that everyone got. People still upset about. So to explain that letter, what it means, and why we had to send it out. Give people the opportunity to talk, you know, express their feelings, what they like, what they dislike. Just some kind of open mic, just what you feel and what you think is going good, going bad, and so on and so forth. Maybe some updates on, like I know we updated the East Michigan, what we're working on. So I can't wait to have an opportunity for other people to come out and explain what they want to see and what they want to do. So yeah, 9 December, 1800 at I was gonna say MLK at Booth Center. Finally. Also, I didn't say anything on the meterless parking, but I would just say this: no one likes assessments, and to be honest with you, the assessments really don't cover a lot. I don't think you can really do parking lot repair, mainly stripes, things like that. So it's not a lot. So I think council, we have talked to staff, and they working on looking at bringing something to council about meters, right? Yeah, so that'd be something in 25 we'd be looking at, some different ideas to look at, and people say we're not ready. Well, you know, they said we weren't ready for apartments downtown. So I think everywhere you go, you have to pay a meter, either online or whatever. So every other city you go to, you have to do that. We're not copying in other cities, but it'll bring in more money. It'll help with parking lots. It'll just get rid of people rolling around and, you know, skipping out and things like that. So I just think that's an opportunity. It's time for us to look at that. I know DDA looked at it, but I think we should look at it again and see the different options that's out there. So I'm looking forward to that information once staff bring it to council. Happy holidays. Eat a lot of turkey. Go serve. Help people who, you know, the less fortunate. Help out with that. And we come back next month with a new crew. One at least. I wish it was two. Thank you. Have a good night. Peace out.
Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My remarks, Shalonda, we will miss you. You certainly have brought a lot of what we need to council. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you well in your future endeavors. And do come see us. I know you will, and I know you'll keep up with what's going on. I just want to say to Avion, I'm so proud of young people who are moving in the right direction to be successful, to be a help, to look out for community, to grow with us. Actually, I did bring your name up a couple of times since you were here the first time for activities in the community. I'm just so impressed with what you bring. Okay, so continue. I want to say happy holidays to everyone. It is a time to give thanks. It's a season for all of us to give thanks for what we have, what we had, and what we have to come. So with that, I think that's the end of my comments. But you take care, Shalonda.
Councilmember Forbray.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman Hunt, it's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you for your service. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, one of which I hope is navigating the bureaucratic maze and red tape and figurative landmines and fine print of running again this spring. And I'll be happy to help you. And I hope to see you at least try to be here again. So I wish you the best of luck. Thanks.
I appreciate that.
Councilmember Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wanted to also thank Councilmember Hunt for your service. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You'll be missed, and looking forward to whatever is next for you. Personal note, many of the people here know that Kelsey and I do have a toddler, so that's exhausting, fulfilling but exhausting, and she's teething. So she's been chewing on everything, and this week she decided to start chewing on electrical cords. So I've had to ground her until she learns to conduct herself properly. Happy Thanksgiving.
But come on, man.
Real dads knew that was going right off.
Yeah, real quick.
I knew that.
Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to give a personal thank you to Angelita, Freddie, Arlene, Andrea, Mr. Mayor, Jonathan, Matthew, Will, Connor. Everyone at this table has been so instrumental in providing me with information, answering questions for me throughout this past year. This has been a life-changing experience. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. So honored to have been in this space with each of you. I want to extend a sincere thank you to all the department heads that took the time for my conversations, my phone calls, my in-person meetings, just really trying to figure out the nuances to what city council really consists of. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It is bittersweet, to be continued. Keep your eyes open. I am deeply rooted in my city that I call home. I have enjoyed having this opportunity to be an example to my daughters and for them to see what it means to be a leader in different spaces, not just here, but city council, sitting on the Human Relations Commission, the Police Oversight Commission, parks, people for the parks and trails. There's just so many different spaces that I have taken a special interest in and given my all, poured my heart into everything. My dad told me, don't ever cut corners. And I've not done that one time. I appreciate this opportunity. I am so honored. It's humbling to hear all of the comments that everyone has said. This is a new season for me, and thank you, Will, for the encouragement. I might take you up on that, just saying. Connor is not just a colleague that is sitting here at this table with me, but also a friend outside of this space. And Connor, thank you. Thank you for being amazing. I'm at a loss for words. I feel like there are certain spaces that we are put in, right? And this space, I was granted this opportunity, and I feel like it is propelling me to the next season, propelling me to what's next for Shalonda. And had I not been granted this opportunity, I don't know that I would be feeling as confident and optimistic about what's next. Thank you, each of you. I appreciate this opportunity. I do want to extend a congratulations again to Christy. Christy, you rocked it out with your campaign, your magnets on your vehicle. I appreciate the conversations that you and I had together. We met multiple times. You helped me with my Ward 5 cleanup. We shared ideas. We brainstormed. And I want you to, I'm passing the baton to you. I am going to pass the baton to you. I am a champ. I am a person that can give someone their flowers or, congratulate someone. So pick up where I left off. A year is definitely not enough time for me to execute and do everything that I'm capable and that I know that I can do. There's so much more work to be done in Ward 5. And who knows what next year will bring. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate this opportunity. One second. I just want to thank my family.
Come on now.
I'm sorry. My family, my friends, my family has been my sounding board. The times when I needed to make decisions and just processing with them. I'm like, come to the meeting. Come sit in this space with me. It is totally different watching it online. So for those of you that are watching online, I appreciate you being in the space with me. Thank you as well. But my friends, my family, my mentors, I would not be here without you. I love you. To my parents that are smiling on me because I am a champion. Thank you.
Okay. All right, got a couple of comments. Councilmember Wood, remember, it's a battle. You and Kelsey against her. Okay. It's a battle of love, but it's a battle nonetheless. There's an event coming up. I just wanted to shout out a friend of mine, Marshawn Goodlow, for just teaming up with some great people around the community to do something great for the people in the community with a event that they plan to feed 1,000 people on the 27th. I think it's from noon to 3 o'clock or something like that. I'd have to look the time up, but they're trying to give out a lot of food. I saw them roasting some turkeys already. And they plan to feed 1,000 people. And if you know Marshawn, you know once he puts his mind to something, he works until it comes to life. So I'm proud of you, man, and hope you get the turnout that you're looking for and connect with the people who need the food during that time. This is one of those times of year where there's a lot of people who don't have a family to be around or sit around, let alone a meal to have during that time. So if you're not doing nothing, maybe connect with him and some of the other people who are putting that together, or one of the other events that are happening that intends to feed people. It will be a good spend of time. On the meter parking, it's a tough conversation, Pat. And anytime you have my phone number, and I have yours. If you have any concerns or things that you want to discuss or talk about, I would hope that you would help us lead the way in the discussion around metered parking, which would relieve all of our downtown businesses of having to pay that assessment. Because I hear you very clearly, and also think that you guys do deserve, in the meantime, to know and understand better how those dollars are being spent. And it may not be the answers that you want. You may still come back with more questions. But one thing that I can tell you is that council, staff, and everyone involved is not the same council, staff, and everyone involved as the past. And one of the things that I know that we all pride ourselves on is being transparent. So as far as wanting the understanding of where those dollars go to, that's an easy ask right there. Again, the answers may not be what you want to hear, but the answers will be given and will be provided, and that's not an issue at all. I do look forward to us tackling the issue of metered parking in 2025 because, like my good friend Will said, I think it needs to be blown up. I just think that we have to have one of those wicks that give you a little bit more time to get away from the explosion. In hopes that we have something to replace what's blown up in the interim as well. I do want to say congratulations to the Interfaith Shelter for celebrating 50 years of service in the city of Jackson, serving Jackson's most vulnerable population. I have not been shy to share with the community that I have been homeless before. When I was homeless, I stayed at the Interfaith Shelter. For 18 years, my mother worked at the Interfaith Shelter. So I have seen the changes that they've made. Some I think have been commendable for sure. This for sure is a commendable effort that they are putting forward to build a new facility because we need it. I mean, we've been talking about homeless. We have gone out on a limb, spent money that people came to this podium to complain about us spending because people were in the streets. And we had a fear of those individuals who were in the streets freezing to death over winter. And that is actually the reason why the Interfaith Shelter was started in the first place, because an individual froze to death in Jackson, Michigan. Not Detroit, Michigan, not another state, not another town, not out in the township outside the city, but in the city of Jackson, Michigan. An individual died, and that is what started the Interfaith Shelter in the first place. So I'm very happy to see the progress that they're making, and congratulations to them. I hope that they see that project through because it is absolutely a necessity in this community for us to extend those services to those individuals who are at probably the lowest part of their life and need a hand up. Not a handout, but a hand up because there would be no Daniel Mahoney without an Interfaith Shelter in the city of Jackson, Michigan. So I'm very grateful to see the progress that they're making. Monday, which was yesterday, my days are still a little mashed together right now. We did a sign unveiling of the new renaming of the street, Carl Breeding Way. And it was pretty emotional for me because we were able to celebrate an individual who spent their entire life serving other people. And afterwards, somebody asked me, they said, well, Carl Breeding was always about being prompt. And how do you think he would feel with the length of time that it took for a street to be renamed after him? One, I don't think he would have ever asked for that in the first place. Two, as far as the timeline, and this is what I told him, I didn't say the first part. This is what I did tell him. It took us 49 years in the city of Jackson to rename a street after the world's most renowned civil rights agent, Martin Luther King. It took us 49 years. Someone who walked parallel to the life that he lived in this community, who was instrumental not just in the city of Jackson, but in the state of Michigan and across the country for the NAACP, got a street renamed after them that runs parallel to the street that we renamed after Martin Luther King. And he passed about 10 years ago. Per the ordinance, you have to be passed for 2 years. That takes us down to 8 years. And it took one comment and one council meeting. I think he would be quite impressed that we shaved that timeline down and he didn't have to wait and we didn't have to fight for 49 years. And that shows the progress that this community is making. And that makes me very happy. Shalonda Hunt. I don't do goodbyes, so I will not say goodbye. I will say see you later. You still got work to do. Whether that work is here or on the school board or wherever you decide to put your mind to, I know the work is going to get done. It has been more than an honor to serve with you. I wish this time was extended, but one thing I know that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I think that you have served with dignity in both spaces. I think a lot of people probably had questions, how is she going to do both and the rest of everything else? And instead of talking about it, you showed us how you decided to do it, and you did it very well. And I don't think many other people could do that. Serve on two boards, make sure that they're understanding when and where there may be a conflict of interest, standing on that integrity of not voting on issues where there may be a potential conflict of interest, and also showing up outside in the community in other areas, in other wards, and being at all the things and in all the places. And I know that's something that you will continue to do. You messed up in one small area. You made a list of boards that you have a high interest in, which sounds like to me you may be a very potential great candidate to be appointed to some of those boards and commissions. So I hope that you would consider putting some applications in so that we not only have to ask you to come back, but that you can just be here and we can still see you continue to serve in those spaces that you do have high interest in. So yeah, I you know, after the election, Shalonda, somebody texted me condolences, and I said I did not die. So I will not say goodbye, and I won't say a whole bunch of sappy, sounding stuff. Not that anybody else did, but I just won't, because I know you have more work to do. And I'm looking forward to seeing that work. And if there's anything that you see the potential for us to collaborate on, just know that door is open because I'm looking forward to it. And I truly mean that about having you serve on some different boards and commissions because we need good people with good intentions, with bright minds like yourself to continue to serve and continue to sit in these spaces. Absolutely. Chrissy Mae Davis, now is the time where we would play that music. Come on down. When they get me my DJ pad up here and I can just push that button, now would be the time that I hit that button. Congratulations, you are up next. I'm sure that you can ask anybody up here. As what was said before, it is not the same standing on that side of the podium as it is on this side of the podium. So brace yourself, get ready. Everybody here is ready to embrace you and look forward to serving with you, and very interested in hearing some of the things that you are looking forward to getting done, so we can make sure that we work on getting those things done. Lastly, this is kind of twofold. So like today I've been thinking all day about this. I had another classmate of mine's pass away today. I'm not even sure when he passed away. I don't know if it was today or if he's been sick, or I'm not sure, because you graduate with people or you go to high school with people, you lose touch with them, but that doesn't mean that they're not friends anymore. It just means that life continues to happen and they sometimes take you on different paths. But man, life is fleeting. Every day that you live is a day that you're closer to dying, and you just don't know where that clock is at. And I just want to make sure that I extend my sincerest condolences to Glenn Foden's family, to his sister, and everybody else, all the friends and family that he has, because again, you just don't know. And I would also like to extend a sincere condolence to the young man who passed from the hit and run recently, because again, you just don't know what may happen in this world. And I want to say thank you. This is Thanksgiving is getting ready to come up. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys on council for the sacrifice. And I not only want to thank you, but I want to thank your families. One of the most like one of the biggest things that I picked up from Tyra, who spoke yesterday. Tyra is Carl Breeding's daughter, and she said, you know, I fought for this, and she did. As soon as I got elected, actually, when I was still the president of NAACP, Tyra was on my phone. It's saying, we need a street named after Daddy. We need a street named after him. He did so much for this city. I became mayor, and then she blew my phone up even more. And I told her, I said, I agree, and I will like give you my word that that's something that I'll work on. And yesterday when she spoke, she said, I fought so hard to make this happen because I felt like he deserved it. While he was here, he didn't see the appreciation as much as I thought he should have. And I had to sacrifice. This is what she said. His daughter said, I had to sacrifice. This is why I'm saying thank you not only to you, but to your families, especially your children, because this is something that not only you are sacrificing for to be up here, this is something that your children are sacrificing for. This is something that my children are sacrificing for. The time that we spend away from them, because it's not just this meeting. It's all the meetings in between this meeting, all the things that we get invited to, all the phone calls that we have to take, all the emails that we have to respond to, all the time that it takes to get from this meeting to the next meeting, and the time that it takes away from those who we love the most, which is probably our biggest motivation for doing this, but it is a sacrifice. And I just want to take this time now to say thank you to each and every one of you and all of the family members that are attached to you all, not just council, but all the staff as well, because it is absolutely a sacrifice. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to you all. Mr. City Manager.
I couldn't have said a lot of what you said better myself, so I'll only have to say, Shalonda, Councilmember Hunt, it's been a pleasure to work with you, and if I understand things correctly, it doesn't sound like you'll be going around, you'll still be involved, and I look forward to continue working with you in any capacity. It's been a pleasure.
Looking for a motion? See y'all next month.